So our goal is to increase the toolkit of our students, wellness check-ins, and also connect the technology piece as far as referral, workflow, resource hub, maybe some digital wellness lessons where they can get on the computer and do some things to kind of gauge where they are with wellness and things like that. So using technology can definitely assist with helping these students get to where they need to be. Let's see. These are just some available resources that we'll use to help build our community referral network. These are all mental health hospitals and psychiatric facilities and centers that we have partnered with as licensed mental health professionals that we want to make sure staff are knowledgeable and aware of, and parents are aware that these are resources available to their students. So we want to make sure that this implementation shows that resources are available. We want to make sure there's incentives and rewards for staff who are appropriately carrying out this change and plan. And then we want to make sure there's time to train appropriately, check-ins with making sure we're reviewing the protocols and things like that. And then we also want to make sure that there's participation. District leaders need to model what they want to see from teachers and staff with regard to how they support the students. Now, as far as implementation time frame, we're looking at, a month-to-month phasing, which would be designing it out for month one, knowing what our toolkit is, specifying what referral process looks like, translating family resources, and then moving on to shift from that pilot to training staff on mental health and literacy and SEL routines, and then also teaching them, how to manage that digital wellness for students. And then we would then enter phase 3, which will be the pilot, launching the actual check-ins, the referral workflow, the resource hub, and then, the get-togethers to review the information. And then that last phase would be, refining things based off of what we see, what's working and what's not working. And as far as our communication plan, what that looks like is ultimately media and digital. We can use the district website. We can use Schoology, Canvas, email, newsletter, social media, however we want to interact with the students and the parents. And then also personal communication. So we definitely will be talking about this in ILT, which is our principal meetings, PLCs and CBPLs, parent meetings and things like that, where we could get this information out there. And then, of course, our framing ultimately is that support is available. You're not alone. And, wellness is basically what supports learning. And we want to ultimately prevent crisis before they happen. So we want to make sure that we also keep in mind that we're going to provide this information in multiple languages, English and Spanish, because we want to make sure that we use language that is culturally respectful and also inclusive. And ultimately, the commitment to the evidence of our leadership, we see that, as leaders commit and prioritize wellness, the learning condition changes. We want teachers and leaders to normalize SEL and wellness routines because it creates a better learning environment. We don't want to wait for a crisis to happen. We want the student to already have their needs cared for. And then ultimately, how we will see this evidence of leadership is that named implementation plan. We'll also be able to see feedback and data for the plan. And our challenges to overcome, obviously, stigma, resource limits, technology, staff burnout, privacy and consent, and sustainability. These are all things that we can definitely master and deal with as they approach. And our expected outcomes are students having increased better learning environment, better campus climates, adults having a greater compassion for the kids, and our systems in place.